What's up, guys, and welcome back to the DualSense podcast. This is episode 54. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jason, and I'm joined, as always, by your other co-host, Mr. Alligator Pussy, aka Travis. Travis, what's good?
I'm enjoying my PlayStation coasters I bought yesterday with cousin John.
Oh, yeah. Let me guess. Can I take a guess of which? Because they're 4 coasters, but they were reversible. So can I take a guess of which sides you're showing?
Yeah.
Okay. Gran Turismo.
Yes.
Gran Turismo 2.
No, they're together. So you can only pick one.
Okay. So you went original.
Mm-hmm.
Twisted Metal.
Correct.
Parappa the Rapper.
No. That was a good guess though.
What are the other options?
You got Medieval.
Oh,
Hemmings.
Lemming?
And more yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Destruction Derby.
Oh.
Or Wipeout.
Okay. You went Gran Turismo.
Which one?
First one.
Right.
Destruction Derby.
Yep.
Did you say yes or no on Twisted Metal?
Yes.
Okay, so one more.
Yep.
Your other one was Medieval.
Yep.
Okay. I got you figured out.
Yeah, God, I don't remember Medieval, to be honest. I'm not sure I played it, actually.
I feel like I played the demo of that from a demo disc that
feels right.
Yeah, that I either got from a magazine or Pizza Hut.
Yeah, I forgot about the Pizza Hut ones.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
I think I put about 100 hours into a Tony Hawk Pro Skater demo I got from Pizza Hut.
Absolutely. Yeah, I forgot that was awesome. Forgot about that. I think that Medieval and Metal Gear Solid 1 demos may have been on the same disc.
Oh,
and if I'm right about that, that is a hell of a pull from way back. So I'm gonna have to look that up after the show, but that seems like that's true to me because I remember playing the Metal Gear Solid demo over and over.
Yeah, and just being rock hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Which maybe we're gonna get a new one of those or a remake in the future.
I don't know if you're gonna get that or a SOCOM first.
Oh my god, either one I'm cool with. I'm cool. Well, without further ado, talk to me about what you've been playing in the past week.
Well, I haven't been playing a whole lot because I've been falling asleep like I have narcolepsy.
Yeah, you've been busy.
I played a little bit of FIFA with Stevenage, and I found a 6'7" striker, which I've never seen before.
Yeah, he's huge.
Not only is he 6'7", but he's like, his value is only like 400,000, and he's like a 52 right now. But his potential is a 73 to a 94. So like, he's already 17. I'm going to sign him, but I'm going to leave him in the youth squad for a little bit and just work on his speed. But that's awesome. So I have a tiny, fast dude on one side. Hopefully this dude gets at least in the 80s, maybe. I could just have a huge motherfucker and this tiny little fast guy. And I think that'll be pretty fun.
A big fooker.
Then we played Chivalry. Gosh, I'm tongue twisted. I'm sun kissed and tongue twisted. We played a little Chivalry today or yesterday, 2 nights ago. I don't know. We played a fucking video game and I did really well the first 2 matches. Like first match I hadn't played in a long time. I hadn't played like a week, and I was like +8, which is better than I expected to do. Second game, we both played pretty well. I think we're both mid-table, but there was a guy on our team with like a ridiculous amount of kills, if I remember correctly. But I was using the double-sided axe, which I just unlocked, and it was a blast. And once I figured it out, I died a couple times in a row, but then I just started murdering people. And then the downfall happened. Game 3, we went to the court with the map, and there's a city court in the middle, and you get to protect it. And I was arrowing motherfuckers, dude. I was getting I got like 8 kills in a life, 9 kills in a life. I was on fire. Go to the last match we played, and I woke up walking across the map with my arrow pointed at the sky drawn.
Yes.
I fell asleep restocking my arrows. I woke up mid restock. Like I fell asleep when I hit square, and then I woke up when the controller vibrated to let me know I'd restocked. And I was just like micro sleeping. Like I would die and I would spawn, and then I would have no idea if I would have no idea how many times I died. Like, like I remember one time I was asleep long enough that when I woke up, I couldn't believe I was alive. So I woke up and I'm like in the middle of a fight, but I'm alive. And I don't know if like I was awake or my eyes are open and my fingers. Because one time I was asleep and my fingers were hitting buttons. I remember waking up and my fingers were hitting buttons and I was letting arrows ride from wherever I was. I was just flinging them into a big crowd. So that was a blast. So anyway, I clipped all of that. Every
Good.
time I'd wake up, I would save a clip. So hopefully it'll make a decent little clip of me. The good part is like I'll actually be able to find out how long I was asleep.
Yes, you can call it your montage video. You can call it asleep behind the battle axe.
It was something.
There was
I haven't had that happen in a while.
So when you told me that the next day that you were just micro sleeping, I told you that at one point I witnessed you standing 2 feet from a guy with your bow and arrow drawn, just shooting arrows. I don't know if you were micro sleeping for that, but at the time I was like, why in the hell is he 2 feet from this guy trying to shoot him with a bow? You just like
I was
ran into
definitely asleep.
you just ran into the action, and we're just 2 feet from a guy shooting arrows. And so that makes a little bit more sense now. But
Yeah, I will say I was dead asleep one time, and you said something like, "They're going into the castle," and I said, "Yeah, that's where I'm going." And I was like, I was like running in place against the wall.
Oh, it's okay. We've all done it. I mean, I don't know if you've told the story on here about you have sent me a video before of me snoring. I was coming through your controller, so it's been since the PS5's launched. I fell asleep playing, and I was snoring through your your DualSense controller. So
It happens sometimes.
it does, especially when you're working, men.
Yeah, and then I was working like I think I worked like 60 something hours this week, so I was a tired boy. But anyway, the other thing we did was we platinumed Operation Tango, which is a lot easier the second playthrough, as you can imagine.
Yeah, it took us like 2 hours the second time.
Yeah. Not that it's difficult in a sense. It is in a way like, it's a little chaotic or hectic at times, and then once you've been through it once, it's much calmer and much easier to do. Like the things we got stuck on where you couldn't match up the bars, like that was easy. Jumping into the proxy or database server, that was a lot easier this time. Calling out, stuff for the stabilizer, doing the stuff on the train, finding the people on the train, and even the using the bomb. Much, 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 much smoother.
Agreed.
Although we got to the very last part, I still don't know how we got to the bomb. I don't know what we did
I think it glitched, which I was fine with.
it was ridiculous. Like we had unlocked everything in the doors. You were going to the doors. You had walked in and got the thing you needed. I had pinged. You had went and pinged a tower thing or a node. It said go to the door. You went into the door, opened the door up, and then like nothing happened.
Correct.
And I couldn't figure out what you were supposed to do because I'm pretty sure that's all that I did the other time around. Well, then all of the fucking drones kept seeing you. Like they caught us like 6 times in a row. Like I don't even know what we were doing wrong. Like
Yeah.
I was like, it's right around the corner, and then it would go off, and you were in a building.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't. That's where I hid. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway, then we get the bomb. Finally, it pulls the bomb up. Well, Jason can't. You can't see anything.
No.
I mean, it's just a fucking shit show.
It was like the bomb was askew on my screen. It was like it zoomed down on one part of the bomb, and I could see it rotating, but I couldn't see shit. And then it fixed itself, I guess, or whatever. But I was glad for that because I was getting frustrated. We were right
Yeah, I
at
was
the
getting
end.
annoyed. I was like, we're so close, and then we rebooted because we didn't know what else to do, and I thought for sure it was going to be like play the whole mission again, which was going to piss me off.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it booted up, you could see the bomb. Perfect. 3 minutes later, pop the platinum. We're good to go. So yeah. Anyway, that's what I did for my 3 days of gaming where I was awake.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have you back in the regular fold. And for me, as you can see here, I was a busy boy this week without you. I didn't play every night, but the nights that I did play, I was busy. I was more so busy last weekend because that's when we platinumed Operation Tango, as you said, and I also finished Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which is my final verdict of it is that it's still a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
It's a very very excellent game. The combat is so good, especially with the controller. The characters are very endearing. Game's got heart, and the graphics are incredible. So I highly recommend it. It was fun.
Why don't you give it a 10?
And it wasn't too long. Well, I was still running into glitches even at the end, through the rest of the game, which was just weird. So that's really what is holding it back from a 10 for me. So
what is not okay with these glitches that's okay with, like, remember like Fallout or even Far Cry has those glitches and we're like, ha ha ha, like why are these more annoying?
Yeah, I think it's because you expect like a certain level of polish from Sony first party studios, first
Okay,
of
that's
all.
fair.
And people have just come to accept like Bethesda level jank and in their
Yeah,
games.
that's funny.
And it's so that's the first part. The second part is it's not an open, well, in a way it's an open world game. It's more of like a hub world game. And
Okay.
there's not as much going on as in these kind of open world games. So there's really no excuse to have, and it's not even really graphical glitches. I think it's the type of glitch too. So the fact that it's more of like save and loading glitches, like I told you, my save data corrupted, and I've heard
Yeah, that would
other
piss me
people,
off.
yeah, and I've heard a lot of other people talk about that too. So it's the nature of the glitch is
Sure.
part of it
Yeah,
too.
it's like, Far Cry, like a cow just falls in front of you, it's kinda like
Yeah.
hilarious,
Yeah, it's like, "Ha." Yeah. Exactly. So then I also, when I finished Ratchet, I played Metro Exodus, like I told you that I would, and
Metrosexual Exodus.
Metro Sexual Exodus, and I've
Metrosexodus. Oh god, I missed it!
you did, you missed it. A swing and a miss. So played that for 3 hours this last weekend, and that was long enough for me to realize that I'm not in the mood for that game. It's not because the game is bad, but I'm just not in the mood for that. I will say that the next gen upgrade, the PS5 upgrade, is very good. I took some very incredible screenshots just in the short time that I had with it. So I'll be posting those on the Instagram, and but just not in the mood for it. So that kind of left me in a weird place where I didn't really have anything to play. I was looking forward to playing Greedfall, the next gen upgrade, in the middle of the week, but we'll get to that in a minute. So where that led me next was I re-downloaded Rainbow Six Siege and started playing that again. And I gotta say, man, the game, when you and I first played it, I think it launched like 5 years ago, 6 years ago now at this point. And me and you didn't really care for it, and we sucked at it. But I have to say, the game is a lot better now than it was all those years ago, and I actually have quite a bit of fun with it. So it's I mean, I'm not good at it. I'm not very good at it, but this week I did get MVP of the match 3 times. So suck
Oh,
it.
out of, like, what, 300 or
Well, there's 8 people in each match. So, I mean,
oh, I meant, like, games.
oh yeah, probably. Yeah, the 3 out of 300. So you're saying there's a chance. So I have fun with it, man. It's good. It's a fun time, and you don't have to really think about it too much. Like, it's just pick up and play, which is nice. And then it's not on the list here because I played this earlier today, but I played a little bit of Planet Coaster
Oh, okay, fill me in.
earlier today. I'm just working through the career mode on that, which is just a series of different scenarios, basically, kind of like, Theme Hospital and stuff would do. Give you different parks and give you a scenario like make this much money and build this many rides, whatever. So I did a couple of those this morning, and I really like that game a lot. It's very good. It's a very good simulation game. It's a very good management game. The music is great. The graphics are cool. Lots
Hmm,
of details and options, and you can get as granular with it as you want, or you can be as surface level with it as you want. So I think that's the mark of a good management game.
yeah, yeah.
And then the last thing that I played this week was Need for Speed Most Wanted on the Vita. Just had some time the other night, and some people were talking about trying to get online trophies on Reddit. So it just kind of sparked my interest. And I got to say, I had played it just for a few minutes before, but played it obviously longer this time. And it's one of the best games on the Vita.
Really?
Yeah, my understanding is that it's like a true, just full blown port of the PS3 game.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
it's like it's not missing anything. It's just like the game, and it's on Vita, and it's really fun. And I think it holds up pretty well, even almost 10 years. Well, I don't know when it came out, but I think it came out in 15, so it's about 6 years old, I guess, 7 years old. So it holds up pretty well. It's a fun game if you guys have Vita. And the online servers are still alive, so there's that.
What a miracle!
Yeah.
Did you tell everybody about Days Gone? Have we went over that?
No, we haven't.
Right.
I was waiting for you to bring that up. So Days Gone, an update on Days Gone. I am officially done with Days Gone. After we talked about it had been 26 days gone without my PS5 when it shit the bed. That was enough time for me enough time had elapsed from when I had left off playing Days Gone to I had no idea what the hell was going on anymore, pretty much. And so I was trying to figure it out, but I'm like late in the game. And so there's, I don't know, man, I just couldn't get back into it. And then I was getting frustrated because I was doing a mission and I was wandering in the areas with like a shit ton of zombies. And I don't know, the combat was pissing me off because the combat's really not great on that game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm done with it. I've tried to play it 5 or 6 times now, whatever. And I shouldn't have to try and play a game that many times to try and like it. And so it's whatever. It's not going to get a sequel anyway. So why bother? So done with that. I'm forever Days Gone with Days Gone. And before we move on to the news here, Travis, I just realized that I forgot to give people the rundown. So let me do that real quick before we get into a meaty news week here. We've got a lot of ground to cover. So, Travis, for the uninitiated or the noobs, we are a weekly podcast where you and I get together every week and discuss all of the news and rumors, new game releases, and a little bit more in the world of PlayStation. We post new episodes every Monday on all of the podcast services around the world, as well as YouTube. If you prefer to listen there, you can find us at the DualSense Podcast, where we also share some game streams and clips occasionally. And lastly, if you want to reach out to us and talk to us, you can find us on Twitter at the DualSense Pod. We would love to hear from you. So without further ado, now let's move into the news, Travis. Number 1, Sony announced the acquisition of Finnish developer Housemarque as a PlayStation first-party studio on Tuesday. The studio has been a long-standing second-party partner over the years, producing excellent titles such as Super Stardust, Resogun, Nex Machina, and of course Returnal, the recent PS5 exclusive hit. This is the first studio acquisition for Sony since acquiring Insomniac Games in 2019 for $229 million. In an interview with GQ Magazine UK, Herman Holst, the head of PlayStation Studios, said that acquisition talks began in 2020 between the two sides. Holst also stated that Housemarque will be expanded and future titles will naturally be larger and more ambitious, still with a focus on tight gameplay. He also noted that PlayStation has engaged in, quote, very targeted acquisitions of teams we know well, end quote. This leads us to an apparent mishap by the Japanese PlayStation Twitter account, who mistakenly posted the wrong graphic on their acquisition announcement, listing Bluepoint Games and not Housemarque as the studio being acquired, before quickly deleting the tweet. What do you think of this?
Well, three things to touch on. The first is, it says they started their, talks last year in 2020, and I think that kind of leans into what we had said earlier this year when Returnal came out, that if Returnal was a commercial and critical success, that Housemarque would probably get bought by PlayStation just because of Nex Machina, Resogun, Superstar, like games we know that have been really, really good. A fourth in a row, it's at a price point they can get. It makes a lot of sense. So I think that, that admission kind of leans into that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, it sped it up. The success of Returnal definitely, if anything, concreted it. At the worst, it sped it up, is what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Secondarily, saying, Herman Hulse saying they're going to focus on tight gameplay. Well, like that's kind of what they're known for. I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't, like we said before, I don't want them making a racing game. Like let's make some tight gameplays where I can shoot some stuff. Like that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But getting bigger than Returnal, what does that look like? Because like we said before, like when we heard about Returnal, like this is a really cool idea. It's really kind of a 3D version of these twin stick shooters. What does that look like? And then we saw it and it was awesome. Okay, so now what does a bigger version of Returnal look like? Does it follow the same sort of, vertical and horizontal gameplay? Well, I would assume so, but I'm kind of curious about, like, does it become a hub game? Does it become open world, like you said earlier? So I think that's interesting. And the final thing I wanted to touch on was, Bluepoint being thrown in to the tweet by accident. And Obviously it got deleted really quickly. Everybody in the world screenshotted it. Bluepoint has came out and said, "Hey, there's nothing to it. We don't really know anything, yada yada yada." And if you go and read the comments that you've read from Bluepoint, from their, from the people there, it reads to me like this. I mean, again, I'm speculating, but it reads to me, maybe I'm reading too much into it, like a company that's in negotiations but nothing is signed. So because of the flat out no, because it's just the way I would do it. Like if I was in negotiation with, and I was, in that company, I'd be like, no, I have no idea. Like I'd be like that. I would deny it in that way to not screw it up, because you don't want it to leak. 'Cause if it leaks, that you could lose your bargaining ability, you could lose money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You could lose the deal. If there's nothing going on at all, I would be more inclined to say something like, no, but I wish, or kind of hint at it like,
Right.
man, that would have been awesome though, right? Call me. So I don't know. To me, it just seems like, hey, maybe they're where Housemarque was last year. Maybe that's more of where they are. So I feel like there's some smoke there. I just don't know how much fire there is. There's definitely something going on there.
Yeah. So I guess first off, it's great to have Housemarque in the fold, and that was something that's been, pretty, I guess, expected or telegraphed here for a while. They've had a long-standing relationship, and it makes sense. And I think, to your point, I think Returnal was a little bit of a tryout in some way. I think the fact that it reviewed very well, critical success, and you have to assume a commercial success for that game. Although we don't know how many or how many copies that it's actually sold, I would guess somewhere around between 5 and 8 million is my guess. Which is pretty good for that game, that type of game, what it is. So it's good to have them in. They are the kings of tight gameplay, as you say, and it's good to know that PlayStation is going to let them sort of maintain their identity as a studio, but just expand on that. And just imagine what type of game that they can make with full first party support, with full first party funding. So that's exciting. And then as far as the Japanese Twitter accounts mishap, look, that's Bluepoint is going to be bought by Sony. If it's not already happened, it's being finalized, as you say. There's no reason for the Japanese
logo made.
Yeah, there's no reason for the Japanese PlayStation account to have that graphic made if it's not happening. You know what I'm saying? That's like if I went to work and started to sell ice cream cones when nobody asked me to sell ice cream cones. Like there's no it doesn't make any sense. So that's happening. It's just a matter of time. It may be a little bit longer, and like you said, there may be still negotiations ongoing, which is why Bluepoint came out and so kind of strongly denied it, because they have no choice, like you said. But that's happening. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. So just hang in there. But that's exciting too, because there's rumors that Bluepoint is making a Metal Gear Solid remake, and that would be awesome. Number 2, Sony also acquired Dutch developer Nixxes this week. Nixxes was founded in 1999 and is a prominent porting studio working on major franchises like Tomb Raider, Hitman, Deus Ex, Thief, and Kane and Lynch, with their most recent projects being the PS4 and PS5 ports of Marvel's Avengers and Rise of the Tomb Raider. Nixxes will immediately join the PlayStation Studios Technology, Creative, and Services Group to, quote, provide high-quality in-house technical and development capabilities for PlayStation Studios, end quote. The move was made in large part, no doubt, to bolster PlayStation's ability to bring high-quality ports of first-party titles to PC storefronts. Any thoughts?
Oh yeah, it's definitely for the PC storefront, which I think indirectly helps us. Like if we're getting these games on the PC front and they're making all this money, I think it gives us more money, means we get more games or more studios that can make cool games. So
yeah,
you can't really be mad at it. The only thing I wondered was, I wonder if they can help with some of these like remakes, just their talent of doing ports. I wonder if that will help with the remake, because technically a remake is, in some ways, you're porting it, from another system, I believe, if I understand how that works right. So yeah, I wonder if specifically only on the PlayStation side they'll be there to help with some of these remakes that they've been doing lately.
Yeah. I think that's a good point too, because as I mentioned there in the write-up, they worked on the ports for PS4 and PS5, bringing Avengers and Rise of the Tomb Raider. So they obviously have done the reverse also, not just taking games to PC, but also bringing games to consoles as well, in terms of, with those versions of those games. But so I think that's definitely a possibility that they may help these teams get, remade titles or remastered titles out the door, maybe with Bluepoint and Metal Gear Solid, for instance. But the bigger kind of overarching plot of this all is that Sony, and they've said as much, PlayStation wants to bring more titles to PC, and it makes a whole lot more sense to go out and buy these guys who've been doing it since 1999 and who are very good at it, to have them kind of lead that charge and make sure that things are done correctly, because the Horizon launch on PC, for instance, was a little bit of a mess, is my understanding. And, these guys can hopefully help prevent that and make sure things go smooth. The other thing that I think is good about this is that we, as console PlayStation gamers, don't want PC ports to take away from our games. So hopefully now the other studios can just hand the ports off to these guys and let them work on the PC ports and not be distracted with that. So I think that's a positive as well. Number 3, Japanese publisher Konami officially announced a partnership with Layers of Fear Observer and the Medium developer Bloober Team on Wednesday. The agreement will see the companies share, quote, development of contents and the exchange of know-how, end quote. This announcement comes after Bloober Team revealed earlier in the year that they are working on a horror game with a, quote, very famous gaming publisher, end quote.
That's what that says.
It's not what that says. Which is
because the first time I read it, I read very famous farming publisher. And I was like, what the fuck is that?
I wrote very famous faming publisher for those of you at home.
Yeah. And I read international harvester.
But what I obviously meant to say was a very famous gaming publisher, which is almost certainly a Silent Hill game. In terms of how,
no, man, they're not making that. It's Blue Box. Remember, we went over this.
We're gonna get to that, buddy. In terms of how this all stacks up against the rumors of Hideo Kojima working on a Silent Hill game, website Video Games Chronicle reported, quote, VGC understands that Konami has already outsourced at least one other Silent Hill project to a prominent developer in Japan, end quote. And finally, it is worth noting for context that Games Beat's Jeff Grubb reported on Thursday that Hideo Kojima and Xbox have signed a letter of intent agreeing to work out a deal for Microsoft to publish a Kojima Productions Xbox exclusive game utilizing Microsoft's cloud infrastructure. What do you think?
I 100% agree with what you said. I guess it might have been a month ago at least. And you said it since then that Kojima is doing something with Xbox, but he's also working on something else. So 100% think that Xbox will get their own thing from him, but I think that we're also going to get something else from him before that. I think the Xbox thing is clearly just in I know it's a letter of intent, but at the best case scenario, that game is in a storyboard mode. That being said, a very prominent developer in Japan. That's interesting. I wonder what that could mean. I wonder who that is. This is is he back together with Konami? Is that what we're getting at here?
I think that there's been a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and I think there are hints of it everywhere. And if we just take Blue Box Game Studios out of it, okay, let's just pretend for a second that they don't have anything to do with this. Even if you remove that, you silo that off, I still think that signs point to Kojima making a horror game, which we know that he wants to make. He's obviously a prominent Japanese developer, and their Konami has admitted, VGC has reported that they've also licensed another Silent Hill project out. So people have been pretty dismissive of this week in terms of, oh, well, we know that Kojima's not making a Silent Hill game. We know that now. We know it's Bloober Team. Well, no. What we know is that Konami has outsourced 2 Silent Hill projects. One to Bloober Team, one to another prominent developer in Japan. So there's 2, okay? And I think that is Kojima. And there's obviously he worked there, so there's relationship history there. They've recently followed each other on Twitter, which I know that's not everything, but Konami.
You don't follow your exes, do you?
Right. Konami, Kojima have, become amicable. All right. And I don't think the fact that he's reportedly going to make an Xbox game means that he's not going to make a PlayStation game, because you have to look at him. He's not a PlayStation first party team. He's a second party independent developer. So, and those relationships exist all the time. Think about how many developers make games for both platforms. That's all you that's the only way you have to look at it. Like, he can go make an Xbox game and he can still make a PlayStation game. And he can do that. And it can be an Xbox exclusive game. It can be a PlayStation exclusive game like Death Stranding. So what I think is happening is I think that he probably had a contract with Sony for 2 or 3 games. I think you could argue that the second of those games is Death Stranding Director's Cut with more content. You could argue that possibly. I think the third game is going to be a Silent Hill game exclusive to PlayStation. And then I think after he makes that, because he's probably already working on that, I think he's then going to go make an Xbox exclusive game. Because I think that is in the very early stages of development, as you said. And there's nothing stopping him after he makes that game for Xbox coming back and making a PlayStation game. So the people that have, like I said, dismissed that Kojima could possibly be making a Silent Hill game, I think are not seeing the forest for the trees. So I'm buying in, which won't surprise you. I'm not letting it die that he's not making a Silent Hill game, because I think that potential is still very much alive. And I'm still not convinced that Blue Box isn't a shell company for him.
Maybe.
With all this ruse. But anyway, what are your thoughts? Anything else?
When they say Silent Hill game, I think it's important to point out that the people he's not making a Silent Hill game, and I bet what they're thinking is a full-fledged, brand new Silent Hill game that has 20 hours of gameplay or something like that. I think it's important to keep in mind that it could be something like we got with, what was it, Uncharted?
Lost Legacy?
Yes, Lost Legacy. Like, it's an Uncharted game, but it's kind of not. And it is, but it isn't. Like, it is Uncharted, but it's not Nathan Drake, and you know what I mean. So, I think that could be, if they've put out 2 different Silent Hill things, I think it's safe to say one is 100% a new Silent Hill journey, but the other one will probably be more like sort of a spin-offy kind of thing. Is kind of how I look at it.
Here's the other thing. Kojima was making a Silent Hill game. Okay. He made a demo for it called PT. Right. We've talked about this. He was making a Silent Hill game. Okay. So let's not pretend that it couldn't be him, that it will never be him, because that's just not the case. I think that he is making a Silent Hill game, and then I think he's going to then move on and make an Xbox game. But we'll see. Number 4, PlayStation Studios Sucker Punch Productions announced a Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut this week, which is coming to both PS5 and PS4 on August 20th. The new edition comes with the base game and every piece of in-game content available, as well as a new story expansion called Iki Island, or Iki Island, I don't know how to say it, which features new environments, new armor, new weapon techniques, new enemies, new trophies, and more. On PS5, the game will now feature Japanese lip sync, haptic feedback, and adaptive trigger support, improved loading times, and 4K resolution options targeting 60 frames per second. Save files will transfer from PS4 to PS5 as well, but here's the catch. This will not be a free upgrade. If you already own Ghost of Tsushima on PS4, the upgrade to the PS4 Director's Cut costs $20. If you buy the PS4 version of the Director's Cut, the PS5 upgrade will cost you $10. And if you plan to go directly from the original PS4 version of Ghost of Tsushima to the PS5 Director's Cut version, that'll run you $30. Keeping up at home? The game will also be getting a free update for all players that adds accessibility options, a new Legends mode, and the ability to target lock during combat. Later in the week, Herman Hulst, the head of PlayStation Studios, hinted that more Director's Cut releases are on the way, saying, quote, "Our Director's Cut releases will all offer new content, and on PS5 will leverage the hardware's advanced features." End quote. Thoughts?
Well, on the PlayStation, as a business front side, I think these director's cuts are their response to not having very many games right now.
Mm.
That's what it feels like to me. Like I think they at some point last year they must have realized with COVID before the console came out they were going to have some difficulty getting these games finished. They're probably going to be pushed back, and they said we've got to do something. What do we already have that would be quick and cheap, relatively speaking, to showcase the PS5? Okay, well let's do a director's cut of some of our bigger first parties. That's how we got this, and we're getting Death Stranding. That's something I'm seeing when I read between the lines here.
Interesting.
I also read when this news first came out, people were saying like $30 for this new content already on the game. This is the end of PlayStation. Yeah, I mean, like the fucking sky was falling, and to some extent, I understand the frustration with having to pay for something you already paid for. But this is like, it doesn't bother me at all that this is $30. It doesn't bother me. Like,
Yeah.
if you enjoy the game, you get a whole new island. We're getting some other stuff. We're in another story arc. We're getting new trophies. Just then buy it. If you don't like it, then fuck off. Like, PlayStation isn't holding your head on a railroad track saying buy the fucking game or the train's gonna hit you. Like,
Yeah.
I think that, and to the point about Blue Box, this is a little bit different of a point, but like the Blue Box stuff, I guess we'll get into that later. But let's just say Kojima, like, it's okay that we don't know, and it's okay to just have fun with the rumors and to speculate. That's kind of what it's fun.
Yeah.
Just have fun with it. Like, like just because you think he's doing a Silent Hill and somebody else doesn't mean you're fucking Hitler. I think that we need to back up a little bit, because that's like when you go online and read stuff about this. Sony's making this, it's $30, and you get to play this new, this, that, and the other, and people are like, "Well, fuck my ass! I need to get an Xbox, and I need to do." It's not that big of a deal. Like,
There has
if
been
you
that.
don't if you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. And like, if they came out and were like, "This is $70," yeah, I'd absolutely have a problem with that, because
Yeah.
one, it's not worth it, and two, you're trying to sell me a game I already have for the same price. Like, you're adding some stuff in. Would I like it to be free? Sure, but that's not how their model works. So,
Mhm.
I get it. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it is what it is, and that's fine. We like us complaining and bitching about it isn't gonna change it.
Mhm.
We're not. People think that they could change all this stuff, and like, you can't. There's a reason that when Gaddafi wouldn't let groups of more than 3 people get together. Like, if you had a club, it can only be 3 people, because that keeps it under control. My point is like, when you're on Twitter yelling, you're a group of 3. Like, if you want to change something, the yelling about it on Twitter and writing a silly article about it isn't going to do it. Like, you have to actually do something, and the people that bitch and moan about this $30, they don't even know how to do that in the first place.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, I'm on a soapbox.
Yeah, there has been a lot of that this week, and I I have a couple of thoughts about it. First of all, I mean, $30 for a next gen upgrade does, in my opinion, seem a little steep. I mean, that I'll give them that. It seems a little steep. However, it's not just a next gen upgrade. You're also getting an expansion to the single player story. We have no idea how much content that is. Is it 5 hours? Is it 10 hours? It's probably safe to assume it's at least a few hours of content, right?
Right.
So there is that. It's not a typical next gen upgrade. It's more than that. So there's that. Now, the other part of this is that someone like me who had the disc version of Ghost of Tsushima on PS4, who now has a digital PS5, has no upgrade path. Now, that was a personal choice of mine. I didn't want a physical PS5, so I'm going to live with it. I'm not going to pay. So for people like me, you just have to buy the game again for $69.99, and I'm not doing that. So
Right.
I want to play the new content. I want to see what it feels like on the PS5, but I'm not going to pay $70 for it, and that's a choice.
Right.
So
It'll be on sale one day.
yeah, it'll be on sale one day. Maybe I'll be in a lull. I'll play it then. But you know, I understand people who are upset about it, about having to pay for it, but you have to understand that they're adding content as well. Now, if you want to argue whether $30 is too steep for that, time will tell. We'll have to see what the content actually is. But the last thing I want to say about this is it looks like this isn't going to be the last one that we're getting. So
right, it's going to happen a lot.
You guys just need to buckle up. We're already getting, in the past 2 weeks, we know we're getting Death Stranding. So we know that is not going to be a free update. Okay. I probably won't pay for that one either because I'm going to be in another $69.99 for that because I played that physical on PS4. So I'm going to want to, probably not going to, not for $70, but just get ready for that because that looks like the model. So whatever, all this that I just mentioned, if you can keep up with all that math for Ghost of Tsushima, this is going to be the case for that as well, most likely. And it wouldn't surprise me if we get one of these for like The Last of Us Part 2. Like you said, maybe these are just things that we're going to get to kind of hold us over. But it sounds like they're definitely not done with these. So buckle up.
Right. This is all coming from a guy who bought GTA 5 like 4 times.
Correct.
Yeah. I don't, to end on this, and again, to not jump up and down on my soapbox, but it's like, what are we yelling about? You know, you can't expect everything to be free. They want it to be free, but then most free games have microtransactions. Or you're buying cosmetic stuff. And but that's okay. It's like you're gonna spend $30 buying, you know, a marshmallow head on Fortnite and whatever else. You know, I mean, total, it's not $30 to buy the head, but you get the idea. You buy 10 things at 99 cents, or you buy the foot credits on FIFA or whatever. Like, it's to me, it's not much different than that. You know, it's really not. And I don't understand the outcry. It's just like people just need something to yell about. And I wonder really how many people are actually upset. Like, I would love for PlayStation to put out a poll and, you know, like, would you pay money for these director cuts and an additional fee? I would bet 70% of people would do it.
Yeah, probably.
And it's, you know, you just hear the loud mouses with a squeaky wheel.
Number 5, Sony came under heavy fire this week, Travis, from indie developers regarding their handling of marketing, logistics, and store access for small games and developers. Among the myriad problems facing independent developers are the extremely poor or total lack of communication between them and Sony. The nexus of the problem for most developers appears to be the lack of access to an account manager who acts as liaisons between teams and the business side of PlayStation. Developers report a general inability to put their games on sale, email responses that take weeks or months, sales figures taking weeks to receive after launch, and an all-around convoluted back-end system that have led studios to create their own instruction manuals for team members on how to submit games to Sony for the PlayStation Store. These issues have led indie devs to question whether or not to even bring their games to PS4 and PS5 in the future. As one dev said, quote, Sony were easily the worst performing in terms of sales and by far the most demanding and hardest to work with in terms of getting on the platform. As an indie developer, you have limited resources, so you have to ask yourself if it's worth the time and energy committing to a port when they aren't going to promote you and sales are going to be significantly lower than all other competing platforms, end quote. Elsewhere, Bloomberg's Jason Schreier said in regards to the outcry that, quote, the real story, as I've heard from both indie devs and Sony folks, is that PlayStation's support team for indies is severely understaffed. Their priority is big blockbusters, end quote. What do you make?
Now, this seems like something to actually be upset about and yell about. I mean, can Sony survive with just big blockbusters? You know, that's a decent question, I think.
Yeah.
That being said, I get it. Because I feel like
the answer is yes, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Because I think it depends on who this guy is that they talk to, this developer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
What's an independent developer that's put out a game that everybody liked? Like, give me one.
I mean, there are examples like, well, we don't have it on PS5 yet, but like Hades, pretty much anything, pretty much anything that developers made. I mean, look at Housemarque, Resogun, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay, so those make sense. And the thing is like the ones that are good seem to rise to the top, right?
Yeah.
And you know, if they're talking to this guy who made a 99-cent platinum and they're not promoting it, like, yeah, of course it's like that for him. Of course it's a shit show. Because they don't give a shit. It's 99 cents. They're going to get 30 cents from you. They don't care. You know, they're going to promote Red Dead or whatever from Rockstar because they're going to get fucking $30 million. So, like,
it's a really good point.
Yeah, I won't. Just to preface that, I would love to know who he was. Also, on Sony's part, like, this is really bad of you not to be understaffed on that side, like, because you might miss something that falls through the cracks that could be a reso gun or anything like that could pop like that. It just seems like it's a lack of. It just seems like it's not. They're not doing their due diligence, basically, which is odd for Sony. So I wonder if I just want to know. There seems like there's something there, but I don't get it. Like, are they being pretentious? Do they not care? Is it really just a money thing? And they're like, whatever, go make 50 cents on Xbox. Like, is that where their head is? It just seems like it's not normal Sony. It's weird.
Yeah, so I'm of two minds about this. First of all, to your point, it is a business, and you make a very great point about if I'm a business and I also have somewhat limited resources compared to the scale of business that I have, like these independent developers, I'm going to put my eggs in the basket of Rockstar, who's going to sell 100 million copies of GTA, and I'm going to get 30% of every one of those. Well, not all of them, but you know what I'm saying. The ones that are sold on my platform, for instance. I totally understand that. You know, if I'm going to put most of my eggs in the basket of the bigger AAA blockbuster titles, I get that. Now, the other part of this, or I guess my other thought on this, is that all of these things combined definitely seem to indicate that Sony has a problem on the back end. So a lot of these developers said that it was a lot easier to get their games on Nintendo and Xbox. Now, I don't get so much hung up on the I don't so much get hung up on the marketing because they were saying, "Oh, it costs $25,000 to get featured by Sony." Well, multiple reporters said that all the platforms do that.
Well, I was gonna say 100% everybody does that.
Yeah, Tony Polanco, even Jason Schreier said they all do that. So that's, I mean, that is what it is. I mean, that's the business world in general. Like, you can't just go put a sign on a billboard and not get charged for it. I mean, that's the way advertising works. Sorry.
Yeah. You just hope you get hot on Twitter. Like, you know.
You pay to promote tweets on Twitter, for instance. I mean, come on. Anyway, but the other part of it that I think actually is concerning is the fact that if it truly is that difficult to get your game on PlayStation's platform, if you can't get a response from anybody for weeks or months, I do hear them on that. I think that's a problem, and I think that's something that Sony needs to address. Whether it's more manpower, whatever, I don't think that they should have that big of a blind spot if it's truly that bad, because there are a lot of indie games that I play and enjoy. I mean, there's a lot. And I don't want to make it sound like all I'm here for is to play the AAA blockbusters, because I'm not. Because I have been playing a game lately called Lonely Mountains Downhill. You know, it costs like $4, like $5 or $10. Like, that's an indie game, and I really enjoy it. And I have all kinds of examples of games like that. So, you know,
I love FIFA, one of my favorite indie games.
So I want those games on PlayStation as well. So if there needs to be something done about that, then it needs to be done. I will say that. On the other hand, like I was saying, it is to a point, it is business, and you know, you got to focus on where the money is made if that's what you're worried about. And so I get that too. But look, if Sony needs help, if they want to hire me as an account manager,
I'll do it
for these indie developers. I'm glad to do it. Give me a call.
Yeah, we'll probably do it cheaper than some other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can be remotely for that. I don't need to be in California to be an account manager. I can. So anyway, you guys hit me up if you're listening, Sony. Yeah, if you're listening, Sony, let us know. We'll be glad to take over some indie accounts for you.
Yeah.
Number 6, PlayStation announced the July additions to PlayStation Plus on Wednesday, and it's another solid month. Travis, PS5 players can enjoy the next-gen upgraded version of third-person survival horror game A Plague Tale: Innocence, while PS4 players get Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and WWE 2K Battlegrounds. What do you think about the list?
That's not bad. At least I've heard of these this month. I mean, I'm not going to play Battlegrounds. I don't have a need to play Call of Duty anymore, Black Ops, but I know a lot of people like that game. I mean, I'm probably not going to play A Plague Tale either, but at least I know what they are. You know, like last month I was like, what are we doing? They weren't bad games. Like, they were games I indirectly knew about, but these are games I've like heard about from the jump. So I feel a lot better about these than the June editions.
Yeah, I am going to play A Plague Tale: Innocence because I only hear good things about it. And like I mentioned, I don't really have anything else single player to play. So I'm going to play that. That'll be my game until hopefully Little Devil Inside comes out in July. But I'm not interested in Call of Duty or.
Is that when your wife's giving birth? I didn't.
No, asshole. It's an indie game. Here we go. It's an indie game that I'm very excited about.
I only play AAA games like Hood, Outlaws, and Legends.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you definitely only play it. You really haven't. Probably Return of the Obra Dinn is the only indie game you've ever played.
Valiant Hearts?
No, Ubisoft. Well, in a way, but Ubisoft published that.
Okay.
I guess probably Dead Nation is probably the.
What was that one? Pantheon, or the one where you're like little artwork?
Yeah, that was that game. Yeah, that was a cool game. Okay, fair enough.
Broforce?
Yeah, also good. So okay, I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah, you're right. Street Fighter 2.
Number 7, Travis. We also have a lot of news nuggets to get through here. As always, feel free to join me here. First nugget. Casey Hudson, the former head of BioWare and director of the original Mass Effect trilogy, announced the founding of a new studio called Humanoid Studios this week. Control developer Remedy Entertainment have signed a co-publishing agreement with 505 Games to develop a sequel to the original game, as well as a multiplayer spin-off set in the same universe. Both sound pretty cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
Virtual reality freestyle dance rhythm game Synth Riders will come to PSVR on July 27th.
The Synth Riders is, it's just an interesting name. That's an interesting name, because I wouldn't assume it's a dance rhythm game. I would be like, okay, so you're riding like a wave, like almost like you're a DJ hero with a synth, is what I imagined.
Yeah, I could see that.
That would be actually kind of fucking cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Also, website GamesIndustry.biz reported that Rockstar Games co-founder Dick Hauser, has founded a new company called Absurd Ventures in Games. What an awful name. Hauser left Rockstar last year after founding the company with his brother Sam in 1998.
So Sam Hauser's still there.
Sam's still there.
And then Dick Hauser is wherever Dick Hauser is. And Randy Hauser is on tour.
Yeah, Randy's on tour. Doogie Hauser is probably dead. Dan's made a new game company.
Right.
Next nugget here. Publisher Take-Two Interactive has acquired French facial animation company Dynamics. What a weird name. 2 for 2. The two companies have previously worked together on Red Dead Redemption 2 and NBA 2K21.
Oh, God, I hope that the guys do the fucking face scan, because that's really good.
It better not be that one.
Yeah, Jesus, guys. I mean, that's the thing. The face scan does really good on the actual players, and then they put the thing on your phone, and you look like a fucking burn victim. It's ridiculous.
You do, though. Oh, wow. All right. Electronic Arts and Hi-Res Studios are among the first developers to partner with a new in-game advertising platform called Player One, which is designed to showcase video ads within games.
Oh, fuck me.
Buckle up for that, guys. Of course.
It would be fucking EA.
I know. That's what I was about to say. Of course it's EA.
Damn it, EA. I'm going to have to wait 5 seconds to hit skip the ad. I'm going to fucking kill somebody.
Yeah. God almighty. Hopefully Battlefield comes out in time before that ever is a thing.
Oh, don't worry. They'll update it on the back end. It'll be a fucking 30 gig update. Still will be smaller than the new Call of Duty, but it'll be on there.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Also, publisher Team 17 has acquired Touch Press, the parent company of educational games developer and publisher Story Toys. Former Activision Blizzard employee David Kim has established a new studio called Uncapped Games, and they are developing a new real-time strategy game.
I like the name.
Yeah. Website Push Square reported that Streets of Rage 4 will get a new DLC called Mr. X Nightmare on July 15th. Sounds like a porno. Insomniac Games updated Spider-Man Miles Morales this week to improve ray tracing in the performance ray tracing graphics mode. They also updated Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart to increase the fidelity mode frame rate to 40 frames per second on 120 hertz capable TVs. These guys are wizards, man. They're killing it. Open World, here we go. Open World RPG Greedfall received its PS5 upgrade this week, but those who claimed the PS4 version of the game on PS Plus a while back will not get the free upgrade. So kiss my ass.
See, that seems kind of shady. That's a little different to me. That seems shady.
I mean, so I don't think this is a Sony or PlayStation decision. I think this is a developer decision. Okay. That's fine. It's your prerogative, but you're asking people who got a game for free 3 months ago to buy your game again okay, to now play it on PS5. And just like I'm not going to for Ghost of Tsushima, I'm not going to do it for Greedfall. If I'm not going to do it for Ghost of Tsushima at $40 or whatever, $70, I'm not going to do it for Greedfall at $40. So bold strategy. It's well within their right, but I can tell you that the backlash on social media, which isn't always real life, I understand that, but it was not positive. So that sucks. Guess I won't play the game. A surprise PlayStation 5 native version of Crosscode released this week on PS Store. It includes a free PS4 to PS5 upgrade. Sony officially shut down the PlayStation Vita's Messages app on Monday, including a complete wipe of any messages you may have stored on the system. So, one more nail in the coffin. CD Projekt Red stated this week that it is, quote unquote, satisfied with the current console performance of Cyberpunk 2077, despite Sony warning consumers not to purchase it on base PS4 models.
Well, thanks, guys.
What a joke. I don't even know if I'll ever bother playing that game again.
That's an interesting example of a game that they pushed a lot and it was fucked up and they pulled it off. It seems like there's a lot there that would make you think they'd be able to do well on the back end with how they handled that game. But whatever.
Next nugget, a new update to Marvel's Avengers will soon allow players to use the same hero in a co-op party some 10 months after release, Travis. That's all it's
not a fan. Not a fan.
It's unbelievable. What a joke.
I don't think we need two Hulks. This is just like, I don't know. I just feel like that this appeases the two brothers who are mad because they both wanted to be the Hulk or whatever.
That's fair
figure it out.
Yeah, that's fair too. The PS5 native version of Doom Eternal is now available on the PlayStation Store. PlayStation Portable Store shut down on Friday, July 2nd, but games can still be purchased on the PS3 and PS Vita storefronts. And a leaked Facebook ad appears to have revealed the July PlayStation Now lineup, which includes Red Dead Redemption 2, Judgment, God of War, Neo 2, and Moving Out. We now await official confirmation of the list, and that's probably
a nice list.
That's the best month ever for PlayStation Now. If that's true.
That'll make some people buy PlayStation Now.
Yeah, that's a fucking banger of a list. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that PlayStation exclusive Infamous Second Son, 2016's Ratchet & Clank, Shadow of the Colossus remake, Bloodborne, and Little Big Planet 3 all exceeded Sony's revenue and profit targets for each game. Classic isometric RPG Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous will come to PS4 this fall via publisher Koch Media. A new rumor suggests that Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver is getting a remaster or remake and will be announced sometime this year.
Is that supposed to say Soul Reaper?
No, it is Soul Reaver. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Whatever.
16-year Assassin's Creed veteran developer Eric Baptizat has left Ubisoft to join EA Motive, who is rumored to be working on a Dead Space revival. Another rumor this week also suggested that the revival will be a remake of the original game with expanded systems. We'll see. Developer Twisted 2 Studio announced a publishing deal with Feardemic for a first-person psychological horror adventure game called Dark Fracture. And the heat wave in the United States Pacific Northwest this week apparently halted work at several game developers, including Destiny developer Bungie, who claimed that computers were overheating. What?
They're not fucking AC.
What is it? What? Yeah. What is this? What are they talking about?
They're out in the fucking desert.
Yeah. What do you mean? They don't, like you said, they don't have air conditioning. Are they sitting outside working? They got the windows open. What are they talking about?
They got to shut down every time it rains in Portland. They don't have a roof. What are you doing?
I mean, when it's 100 degrees here, it doesn't keep me from doing shit except going outside. I would be inside developing my fucking video game.
Do they all have to be outside to work outside? Is that a new thing? They have I
don't know, man. I don't get that. I thought that was a joke when I read that, but apparently it is not. Next nugget, website PlayStation Universe reported that a new rumor from the co-founder of Xbox Era claims that gameplay from God of War Ragnarok will be revealed at the upcoming PlayStation event, which is a rumor in and of itself at this point.
It's the Inception rumors of PlayStation.
It really is. A new high-resolution texture pack is available to download for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and Call of Duty Warzone on PlayStation 5. Just make a PS5 version. Just make a native PS5 version. Gosh damn it. Developer Platinum Games confirmed that Babylon's Fall will feature cross-play between PS4, PS5, and PC. They also confirmed the game will not be playable offline and will not include any PvP at launch. Filming for HBO's The Last of Us series began this week as actors and staff began arriving in Calgary, Canada, Travis's favorite city. It was also announced this week that Nico Parker has been cast as Joel's daughter Sarah for the show. Publisher Koei Tecmo revealed a new trailer for Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires and confirmed it will still be releasing in 2021 on PS4 and PS5. Metro franchise developer 4A Games is hiring staff to work on a brand new IP. Developer Cryptic Studios announced that Magic Legends has been canceled for PS4 after plans were made to shut down the game on PC on October 31st.
So they let them work for 8 months on the PS4 version?
I don't know, I guess. EA updated the Dead Space YouTube account for the first time in years this week with a new picture of protagonist Isaac Clarke's suit. That's happening. EA Play Live on July 22nd will feature Battlefield 2042, Apex Legends, Lost in Random, and a couple of other games, and it will be about 40 minutes long. We know one of those will most likely be Dead Space. Developers Flying Wild Hog, which every time I say I can't help but laugh, and Jagex, or Jagoff, announced a collaboration on a new top-down RPG called Space Punks, which looks awful. I watched the trailer of it.
That's what NASA calls the Russians.
Action-adventure game Little Devil Inside was seemingly confirmed for a July release by PlayStation's Latin America official Twitter account this week, and a list of games launching in the month of July. But I will note that tweet has since been deleted, so we're back to square one. Would they release this damn game already? Gosh, damn it. It was a Kickstarter in like 2015, and luckily I didn't buy into that. I didn't even know Kickstarter existed then, but some of these poor bastards have been waiting for this game for 6 or 7 years. So, oh man, I feel their pain already. I want them to wait for like a year.
They've been waiting for pussy even longer.
Also, upcoming PlayStation 5 exclusive shooter Deathloop will weigh in at a meager 17 gigabyte download size. It's pretty impressive.
I find that interesting. Is it super compressed, or is there just not a lot there?
I think it's some of that cracking middleware like PS5 magic.
It would have been like what we would normally be used to seeing in the 30s, probably.
Yeah. Also, our buddy Tom Henderson, the reputable Battlefield leaker, has claimed that Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto 6 may not launch until 2025 and will take place in a modern-day Vice City. I guess Tom just leaks shit about every game now.
Yeah, I mean, that sucks ass, but modern-day Vice City sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, 7 years between Red Dead 2 and Grand Theft Auto 6, if that's the case. My God.
Yeah, it's as long as the 7 years war is crazy.
Mortal Kombat developer NetherRealm announced that they are done supporting Mortal Kombat 11 with content as they move on to full production of their next project, which is rumored to be a Marvel fighting game.
I read that like they were just like they broke up with them. Like, I'm fucking done with this content. I'm moving on.
I don't ever want to see Mortal Kombat again. Also, the NBA 2K22 release date and cover athletes appear to have been leaked this week. The game is coming on September the 10th and will feature Kevin Durant, Dirk Nowitzki, my dog, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the covers.
Activist. Oh, sorry. I thought we were trying to.
I was trying to think of his other name. What was his name before he was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? What was he at UCLA?
Lou Alcindor.
Lou Alcindor, yeah.
Cinder, I hardly know her.
Alcindor, all right.
I'm so out of touch with 2K. I didn't even know any of this happened. Like, I stopped following them on Twitter. I stopped following them on Reddit because like all Reddit was people bitching, and then it was people showing like glitches, like the ball's invisible, they're invisible, and then people talking about how's my build for the park, and they're just a 99. So you're fucking 99. It's great. Like, yeah, they're all great. You're 99. I don't know what you mean. How is it? It's fucking great. You're 99. Like, anyway, sorry.
Yeah, that game sucks.
I have no idea. I don't even know if I'll buy 2K again.
It doesn't. It doesn't suck. The game doesn't suck, but it has a lot of problems, and they've really lost their way. And I can't wait for NCAA football. I hope it. Oh, FIFA's been really good. I'll say that, but I hope NCAA football is all that we need right now.
It lost a little bit of its. I think people who play FIFA every year probably say the similar thing. It's lost a little bit of its like mojo, but I play FIFA like every 3 years. Maybe I'm gonna try that with 2K. I won't play 2K again for 3 or 4 years. Maybe it'll be great.
Yeah, maybe that's the ticket. Also, id Software announced that Doom Eternal will ditch its planned inversion mode in favor of a single-player horde mode. And go ahead.
Why is Doom capitalized? Is it an acronym?
No, that's just how they spell it. Yeah,
but that's not how the language works. That's fine.
And Travis, here we go. The abandoned real-time trailers app was uploaded to the PlayStation Network servers this week, weighing in at around 2 gigabytes, but it is not yet available to the public following the recent delay to August. Website Gematsu reported that dark fantasy side-scrolling action game Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Nights, has been delayed until the third quarter of this year on PS4 due to unexpected technical difficulties. 3D
must have been hot.
3D action adventure game Blue Fire will be coming quote-unquote soon to PS4 after first launching on other platforms. Roguelike action game Metallic Child will release on PS4 and PS5 sometime later this year. Publisher Funcom has acquired a majority stake in Stockholm-based developer The Outsiders, and Funcom also announced plans to build a new studio in Romania, of all places.
Funcom.
JP Games, the development studio led by Final Fantasy Type 0 and Final Fantasy 15 director Hajime Tabata, announced they have 2 large-scale titles in production for major publishers. Developer Bloober Team has delayed the physical edition of Observer System Redux on PS4 and PS5, with the game now releasing on July 23rd. Multiplayer dungeon crawler Blightbound will launch on PS4 on July 27th. Action-adventure puzzle game Batbarian, that's not a typo, by the way, Testament of the Primordials will release on PS4 on July 15th. Multiplayer action game Project Relic from South Korean studio Project Cloud Games was announced to be coming to PlayStation sometime in 2023. Detective adventure game sequel AI The Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative will launch on PS4 in spring of 2022. And finally, Gematsu reported that Indie Live Winter Expo 2021 will take place on November 6th, featuring new game reveals, game development updates, and developer spotlights. And that is all for the news this week. I'll now kick it over to Travis for this week's pretty meaty week of new game releases.
On June 29th, we had Anna's Quest, which is a game where you drive around a city trying to find all the Amber Alerts. Following that, we have Annihilation, Archon the Dog Adventurer. It's very similar to Caesar the Dog Whisperer. It's a South Park episode. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway.
No.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the dog whisperer. And he just says it really stupid the whole time. Anyway, also on the 29th, we have Curved Space, Doom, capitalized, Eternal. Flatland Volume 2, Merrily Perily, which sounds amazing. Mina and Mishi, Zombies Ate My Neighbors, and Ghoul Patrol. On the 30th, we have Dookie Dookie Literature Club Plus.
I think it's Doki Doki.
Well, okay, yeah, that'd make more sense. We also have the Greedfall, the PS5 version that Jason won't buy. On July the 2nd, we had nothing on July the 1st, by the way. On July the 2nd, we had Chroma Quaterian, Darkness Roller Coaster, which sounds awful. Drunken Fist, Enter the Dragon, Escape Game Fort Boyard, Evergate, Memory Lane 2, love the first one. Super Destronaut DX2. Destronaut, okay. Tour de France 2021. You got the new DLC update. A woman holds a sign out in front of you on the first stage.
Yes.
You gotta watch out for that. And finally, Treasure Hunter Simulator.
Yeah, these simulators, man, they are getting out there. I saw today that Power Washer Simulator is on sale on Steam if you guys are interested.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Drunken Fist, by the way, I haven't watched the trailer for it, but Drunken Fist is a a fighting brawler game, 3D brawling game that has like gang beast physics. And it's like you get in bar fights with people with gang beast physics. So
that's cool.
That does sound kind of fun, doesn't it? So
that's great. Yeah,
I need to look that up.
Hey, when we played Gang Beasts, we talked about how they were basically drunk. So
Yeah,
it makes sense.
it does. And that's all for the games this week, new releases. And with that, let's start to wrap the show up, Travis, by talking about what we're going to be playing in the week ahead. What's on your radar?
I'll probably play some FIFA tonight. I want to get this 6'7" guy in the squad. The best way to make your youth academy players better is to play them, and their match rating is what makes their overall jump. If that makes sense.
I didn't
So
know that.
yeah, so like when you simulate games and they have fours, like they're going to hit the low end of their potential. So you want to play the game. I usually play half the first half, and if I'm up by 3 or 4, I'll sim it. Very rarely do I play the whole game. Usually by the 75th minute or somewhere around in there, I'll have a big enough margin where I feel like I'm safe. So, you know, that's helped with my development because I've always had a hard time developing my back line. And I think part of that is, I would simulate a game. They would give up 3 goals and they have 4s. At least when I play a game, I might give up 2 goals at the most.
Right.
The question is, do I score the rest to tie? So that's helped a lot. I've had a couple of guys jump up on the back end a little bit quicker than normal. So I think I cracked that code right before the new game comes out, which is par for the course. Other than that, I'm sure we'll do some chivalry. Hopefully tonight we'll cut some heads off. I'm working my way slowly to 1,000 arrows fired. I think I'm at like 400. We still got to win 20 more matches at every board. It seems like.
Yeah.
That's not true. I think we need about less than 10 on 2. And there's one where we hit 5 last night or the other night. I finally hit 5 wins. So that's pretty bad for as long as we played it. Finally get our 5th win. But that's what's on my radar. I'll see what the GT Sport races look like this week. I haven't even looked at my racing group in like 2 weeks. I don't even know if I'm in the league anymore. They might have kicked me out, which is fine because that league was like participation's so hard to find in these leagues. And it's, the one league that I was in that had a lot of participation, the league guy had a meltdown and deleted everything. So, and it's just a lot of effort. It's like, it's another thing that you have to manage. It's like, if me and you are co-oping a racing game or something, like if we decided to do F1, like that's not a big deal. Like we race every now and then, a couple times a week, we'll get through the season. Cool. Not a big deal. But like, when you're trying to get 20 people together every Sunday to race, and 2 of them are in Brazil and one of them is, a schizophrenic in Miami, it makes it really difficult. So it gets exhausting. So I haven't touched that, but I'll be kicking around doing a little dirt rally just because it's fun. It's just fun. It's just, there's no pressure there except what you put on yourself. So I might do that later this week.
Well, on my end, I intend to continue playing Chivalry 2, as you said. That's our multiplayer game that we play. Love it. And I'll probably play some more Rainbow Six Siege as well, as long as I enjoy that. And then I'll probably play A Plague Tale Innocence as well, since I don't really have any other thing to look forward to from a single player perspective. So, and like I said, I've heard really good things about it. So looking forward to checking that out, A Plague Tale this week on Wednesday. And beyond that, I'll really just probably spend another week wondering and hoping for a PlayStation showcase so that we can figure out what, the next year of PlayStation games looks like, hopefully, so I can get a release date for Little Devil Inside.
It'd be nice if we can get that God of War footage, Gran Turismo footage.
Yeah.
Some Horizon footage. They could really make us happy.
I said on our Twitter account, they have more to show or say than people realize. Like, they have enough to do like a 45 to an hour long show. They have it. They just need to do it. I don't know if we'll get anything or not, but we'll see. So with that, let's get out of here. If you guys enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. We'll be right there waiting in your podcast feed every week. Or you can check us out on YouTube at the DualSense Podcast, and you can also find some of our streams and clips there as well. And then finally, if you want to talk with us, let us know what you think about the show. Find us on Twitter at the DualSense Pod. And most importantly, if you have a friend or a loved one who you think may enjoy the show, please share us with them. We would appreciate that. And we'll get out of here on that note. You guys take care, stay safe, have a good week, and we'll talk at you next time. Bye-bye.